My name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I'm giving you this to give you a little background on what I'm saying about the mind control murders and patterns. In 1941, I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace and brought to Moulton, Alabama, Lawrence County, 45 miles from Huntsville, where NASA started. And Werner von Braun was brought over here, the German scientist. So you can get a little gist of what is included in hostage taking. My father, I found out in '83 during a political campaign when I was flown to Larry Flint's. It was after then, actually, to replace one of the doctors I'd written about, Larry McDonald, in a medical malpractice, MD, a license to kill, where I'd gotten a letter from the U.S. Attorney June the 23rd of '79, William Harper, and Assistant District Attorney, Federal District Attorney Baker, James Baker. An essay involved ongoing investigation. I thought it was because of my book. I found out late '83 it was because of who I am and who kidnapped me. My father is King Edward VIII, the real one. This is an imposter that was used to marry Wallace Simpson. My Uncle George, who I'm just showing part of this, is on other videos, and the one I've just put up. 1939, they were planning my kidnapping, and my father was legally wed to Georgia O'Keeffe's sister, Claudia, Ruth O'Keeffe, who history doesn't record any of this. This is Elizabeth, who's illegal, that whole brood, and she's got little George down under here, and everybody's having a ball. That's my money that paid for their outfits and everything they have. Now, this is Larry Flint. I show this because when I was doing the book in Marietta, Georgia, in 76, 77, 78, Larry Flint was shot there, and he's brought to Lawrenceville, which is about 40 miles from Marietta. And the person who shot him was programmed to shoot him and kill his attorney. And this is where Mr. Flint wrote me up in Hustler, April of '84, and he tells in the article, I know who's responsible for his shooting, and that they made a pauper out of me. Now, this woman is being touted today and getting salutes and everything, or 80, I don't know if it's what, or 88-year birthday. She looks good, doesn't she, using my money? I can't even walk, and I've put all this on other tapes, so there's no need going into it again. I wrote about mind control murders, and then I found out I've been kidnapped and all that. Now then, I told you about Larry Flint. Timothy McVeigh was one of the mind control murders. And they named George, little George, after my uncle who took down my father and gave away Great Britain. And Elizabeth has made no effort to tell the truth, and she's continued to work on her behalf of really hijacking the monarchy. This is one of the mind control murders. He's being treated for mental illness, and he would probably have the death penalty, James Holmes. Okay, the 33 that were killed here at Virginia Tech on April the 16th of '07. And then I had his picture, but then the psychiatrist, really, he was a psychiatrist, finished at Virginia Tech and was a Fort Hood shooter. And he was under mind control. They're done in patterns, and if you care to go back, you can get that. Now, I'm going to go outside for a minute, and I want to continue this with, I'm going to sit out there for whatever reason. Maybe the scenery's better, I guess. But here's what I wanted to do with it. I hope you can hear it. I usually don't have this written down, but after I got the letter and written the book and got the letter from the U.S. Attorney's Office, um, in 79, I was filled with antifreeze April the 1st of 80, and transport. It was a fiasco what they all did to me. I should have died, gone in a coma. It was hell. Try thinking of your brain being burned, not like losing your leg where you can show it. Your brain's inside you, and they did everything to me. I was taken across the state line and worked for Fred Simpson, as in Wallace Simpson was supposed to marry my father, King Edward VIII, which was a lie, all of it. A 99-year seal put on my father and the lies and the takedown in my birth. Now then, this is where I want to go. I worked for Fred Simpson and was told not to talk about anything. Now, I continued, even though I came up to Roanoke in 86. The murders done in patterns were deliberately done in patterns. It's a mind control is invisible weapon, murder weapon. And how would you know? The programming has been going on way before I told it. Back Tesla files were stolen, and MK Ultra actually went before Congress and got a slap on the wrist in '53. So I can assure you, your children and you have been programmed, some of you, and it's something you don't want to admit. You'd rather get rid of me. I'm telling about my kidnapping and Joe Kennedy helping my Uncle George VI kidnap me, the New World Order that controls your media. They should be telling you this, not me. Now, I'm going to turn this back around and I'm going to just kind of read from it. I don't have to, but I'm going to read from it. This is one of the murders that happened in, when I called the attorney about it, it was, he reminded me that he had met me, and when I worked in the district attorney's office, he worked with me briefly in 80. Now then, he is assigned as the attorney to Amy Bishop Anderson. And she's a professor at the University of Alabama, and I believe it was September the 11th. Not sure that's the date that the murders happened, but she went in and shot 3 fellow professors and killed them. She was I'm going to read it in just a minute. And there were others that were shot and hurt, but they lived. Now then, I called Attorney Miller, and at the time I didn't remember him. I called him, and he said, well, I worked with you at the district attorney's office briefly. And I told him, as if he didn't know, about the mind control murders. He was very nice, and he indicated to me that he might talk to me and see if he could use it. Well, 2 minutes later on my other phone, I got a call from him, left on voice message, and obviously somebody had gotten to him, and he was going to have to plead her as insanity, which is what mind control has nothing to do with mental illness, but mental illness is being used in all this. Like James Holmes, they're given psychotic drugs, which is a misdiagnosis, and it's torture, and he's a victim of a crime himself of mind control, and he'll probably go to death row, as a lot of these have. Now I want to get back to Amy, and I'm going to read this. Boston Strong logo, that's their logo. Bombers were programmed that did the bombing last year, and victims of mind control. They were from former Soviet Union, and it's the biggest civil rights violation ever. One's made a puppet without their knowledge or consent, and their thoughts are not their own or their actions, and it's taken away their right to think or make their own decisions or live their own life. And how do they prove it, even if they knew it? Dr. Amy Bishop, professor at the University of Alabama, Huntsville, shot 3 of her co-professors. She was a professor of biology. She pled guilty to killing Alabama colleagues, 3 of them, in February 13th of 10. She gets life in prison for shooting rampage,